Wednesday of every month. Some people thought it was every Wednesday. First Wednesday
all right, keep me posted.
Every
All right.
month. Doable for everything, right? And again, I'm working on your playbook. We don't have them first yet. Don't worry. We're working on it. We're making them right now, so you might hear me back in the corner being a little noisy. I apologize. But right now, for those of you, I would really like to start us off with a prayer to help all of us in this life and in this business. This coaching isn't just going to be about business. This is going to be about your mind, your body, your soul, everything, okay? We want this to be a well-rounded coaching opportunity for all of you. Everything connects, right? All those things connect in our life. So if you'll just bow your head for a minute, I'm going to let our awesome Reverend Joe.
All right, yeah. Father, we thank you for this time we have together today. Lord, I thank you that during this time that we open our hearts, our minds, Lord, so that you can speak to us, that you could also help us and teach us, as your Spirit says, the Word of God says that your Holy Spirit will be the teacher. He will show us things to come. He'll be the one that helps us learn and provide to us clarity in our minds and understanding, Lord. We ask for wisdom, and we thank you, Father, that the time we have together would be a time that would be refreshing and that would stir up things that may have settled down inside of us that maybe we even forgot about or maybe even never learned before. But Lord, we thank you that you'd bring to us wisdom, revelation, illumination, things the light bulbs will turn on. And Lord, as we go into this day, we thank you that we'll be careful to glorify you in everything we do. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right.
All right, guys, let's go. Again, I'll be back here in the corner working on your playbook.
Yes, thank you so much for that, Monica.
Absolutely.
And we really appreciate the opportunity to actually do this. As far as one of the things that we were going to do is I was going to get the playbooks done through the person that I had doing it, and Monica opened up the opportunity for us to just do it here, and so it's a blessing. So it's taking a little bit longer than I thought it would because that machine is amazing back there. That machine does everything.
The whole punching thing makes it kind of go.
Well, yeah, but it's cool. It does everything. It does the punches. It does it all. So it's really neat. But today what we want to do is we want to impart and we want to give to you, and I want to deposit within you things that you can take with you and you can utilize in your daily activities and what you do on a daily basis. The playbooks, just so you all know too, as far as the playbooks are concerned, you could pay one of two ways. You can either do cash, you can do check, you can do Venmo, different ways. You can probably, if you have like pennies, like those penny things, you can do that. Now, however you want. I don't, I'm open. I have all different methods. Okay, we can Zelle, we can Cash App, whatever you need to do. You just let me know. So, and if for whatever reason you're not able to, don't worry about it. You're getting the playbook anyway. Okay, so just know that. All right. So if you need the Venmo or any of that stuff afterwards, just come to me. I'll give you how to pay, digitally as well. Okay. So with that being said, we're going to get into some things here today that I think is going to be vital to help you with. If you've been in sales for, let's just say, under 6 months, if you've been in sales in real estate or any sales itself for under 6 months, let me see your hand. Under 6 months. Okay, good. Under a year. Okay. Under 2 years. Okay. Under 5 years. Okay. Let's just go under 10 years. Okay. Let's do up to 50 years. Okay. All right. There we go. All right. So 50. So yeah. I just went all the way up. I just went with the whole thing. All right. So what we're going to talk about today then is, and if you haven't experienced this yet in your career, I'm not trying to prophesy it over your career that it's going to happen, but it's inevitable that it does occur here and there. That's getting into a sales slump, and sometimes trying to figure out how to get out of a sales slump. And so what I want to talk about today is sales slump survival, how to rebound and stay consistent in being successful. Okay. A sales slump. Now, has anybody ever heard that before? Sales slump? Yeah. Has anybody ever been in a sales slump before? Is anybody currently in a sales slump right now? Okay, and that's okay. So that, and there's nothing wrong with, again, that's the thing. In order for
have people in the room real quickly that are sitting in here that are top producers in our company, and guess where they're investing their time?
in training.
That too.
Yeah.
You know, I did a message yesterday to all of you about January sales. We got, I don't think I saw it yet. I didn't see it yet. Well, before then you had 6 closings in January.
Yeah, too busy.
So just keep that in mind too. Our top people are sitting in this room as well.
Yeah, I love that. And that's the greatest thing about this is that always, I said it, I think, at the last thing that we were at, but you always want to be a learner, right? Just be a learn-it-all, not a know-it-all. Constantly learn, always be learning. Allow yourself to stay open to development and training and coaching so that you can get better. Even the best of the best in any industry, any sports, or anything that you look at, they constantly, continually train. They sharpen their tools, they sharpen their skill set, and they keep themselves sharp, from what they do, and they let themselves be open to hear ways. Listen, I've discovered that, especially being in sales, as long as I've been in sales, I've discovered that the longer I go in this, the more I realize that, the more I know, the more I realize I don't know. The more I begin to learn, the more I start realizing, wow, there's so much more to learn. So it's just keep yourself open. And I've even learned many times from people who are new in the business or new in sales, just because of their excitement, they just are so fired up about wanting to learn, and sometimes new people don't even realize like how good they really are sometimes, and they think that they're not good, and they say things, and I'm like, wow, that was good. That was awesome, just to hear them tell you certain things and share with you certain things. So you could always learn. It doesn't matter if you're talking to somebody who's never done it. It's because you're talking to a person, and people have experiences in life, and they have certain things that they've gone through that they can share that can sometimes cause light to shine and give you the ability to see things from a different perspective. So let's talk about sales slump, okay? So like we said before, maybe some of you are in a sales slump now. Maybe you've never experienced one, and maybe you never will, and that'd be awesome if you never will. But I just want to share with you how to get through this. A sales slump is simply when you can't find that selling rhythm, right? When you've talked to a lot of customers or people and you just can't get the close. You've done everything you can. You felt like you've done everything you can. You're constantly having conversations, and for whatever reason, people are constantly walking away without the deal. I remember when I was selling cars at one time, I was a salesperson, and the manager went in and the manager, just for whatever reason, he was in a slump as well, couldn't get a deal closed. So after the customer left, he's like, come with me. And we go in the back, and we walk into the office, and he opens the door, and he says, come on in. And he closes the door. And then he opens it again, and he closes it again. I said, what are you doing? He goes, well, I can't close a deal, but I can close this door. He goes, this feels good. At least I'm closing something. So he was trying to get himself in a position. He was trying to get himself into a position to allow himself to get that feeling of closing something again. And unfortunately, a sales slump is that you're just not able to get the deal closed for whatever reason. It's when you can't get in that groove, right? A sales slump is when you can't find how to close the deal, regardless of how many times you've asked, regardless of how hard you've tried. It's just like, it feels like the harder you try, the worse it gets, right? And sometimes it creates pressure, and it becomes desperate. And you never ever want to sell from a place of desperation, ever. Because if you start selling from desperation, it becomes seen, and then it's unattractive, and it pushes people away. They feel like all you want is the money. All you want is the deal. Of course, that's what we do for. We do this not so that we can just, we're not in a non-for-profit organization. We're doing this to make money, right? We're doing this so we can get a paycheck. But my wife said this the other day, and I loved it. It's if you go, work with the people, the paycheck follows, right? So you don't focus on the paycheck, focus on the people. Focusing on the people creates the paycheck. And that's one of the things that we have to talk about here, and that's going to be, how do we answer these questions? Number one, if you're in a sales slump, how do we get out of it? How do we get out? Do we get out of a sales slump? Okay, we're going to answer that. The other question we want to answer is, what do we do to avoid falling into a slump? Right? What to do to avoid falling in to a slump. All right? So, share with me real quick, if y'all could, and I like interaction. I don't like to be just constantly talking. I do like interaction because we have a lot of very smart people in this room. We have a lot of successful people in this room who have done a lot of really good things and have seen things and experienced things. So share with me, people, okay, what is it that you have done to get yourself past whatever you would label yourself, that definition of a sales slump. So somebody share with me, what are some things that you've done to get yourself or smack yourself back into reality out of that funk that you were in?
Come to a meeting.
Come to a meeting.
For real. That's true.
That is so important.
Come to a meeting. Stay consistent. That's it.
Yeah. So come to a meeting.
It's called showing up.
Yeah, and it's 100%. Come to a meeting, and one thing that I like to call that is, don't isolate. Do not isolate. We think so many times you cannot be first of all, you cannot be an island to yourself. Do not isolate. Isolation creates depression, it creates anxiety, it cuts you off from anybody helping you at all. So think about this. Like, we just, we're 5 years past the craziness of COVID, right? And for whatever reason, they thought and told people isolation was good. It was not good. You cannot isolate. You can't isolate. You can't, they quarantine people for, I remember when I got COVID, when it was like the very first, like before, like we started to know anything about COVID. And I got COVID, and it was like, this is the time where everybody was afraid because nobody knew what was going on. All they were hearing was what was being told, right? There was nobody really, speaking up about what was actually happening. So it was actually where I got it, and it was like, the time where, what was it, 12 days or 14? What was it? It was a crazy amount of time. 14 days, right? I was in my room. I was in the office in my house. It was like I was like a caged animal. Like my wife would throw the food up the stairs, and then like, everybody get in, get back, and like, I'm opening the door, and I like open the door, and then like shut it, and then after I shut the door, I hear, you hear all the spray and everything. I mean, this is the craziest, weirdest time of our world, right? It was the dumb ages, I call it. There was like the dark ages, and there's the dumb ages, because we did stuff that was, all of a sudden, nobody ever did that stuff before. It was crazy. So with all that being said, isolation created anxiety, depression, fear, and all these other things because of isolation. And you know what isolation does? It hurts eventually, and it takes that person or that thing, and it puts it over here, and eventually the thing that's left by itself eventually dies, or it goes crazy, or it turns into a virus or a mold, or other things get wrong, and all these other things happen. You just leave something in the corner alone by itself, and just go to your kid's room. You'll find out real quick how something left isolated turns into a complete and total mess, and worse than what it is if it's not isolated, right? So I say all that to say, when you said come to a meeting, in other words, don't isolate. Don't put yourself in a position to cut yourself off from everybody else. And it's very easy to get upset at everybody when you're not winning. When you're not succeeding and you're seeing everybody else succeed, you're getting mad, especially when you isolate. All you do is you get angry, you get mad, upset, you get annoyed, ticked off. Well, what are they doing? They're not nothing special. And then you get critical, and then you get all these different things that start happening because you've put yourself in a position to not hear anybody's voice to guide you out. To take your hand, and together we're going to get through this. Okay? The Bible says two are better than one, and a three-corded strand is not easily broken. When you have somebody next to you and then multiple people tied together, that's going to help strengthen you and get you past the hard times. Are y'all with me? So the thing that we need to do is, number one, come to a meeting, stay connected, stay together, okay? So unity, right? U-N-I-Ty, U-N-I-T-Y, U-N-I-Ty. When unity, you come together, you tie together. I used to do this when I was a youth pastor. I did this example where I took one stick, one branch, and I snapped it. And by itself, it's weak. But then I took that same size branch and I put 12 together and I bound it up with a rope and I tried to break it. I couldn't break it. And then I took these little styrofoam cups, right? There's like this big styrofoam cup, put it on the floor. I stepped right on top of it, smashed it. But then I took about 20 of them and I put all the styrofoam cups together and then 20 of them. And then I put this piece of board on top of it and I stood right on top of it like this and they all held me. It held up my weight. Now, I was about 30, 40 pounds lighter at the time I did that. So I don't know if it would still hold my weight. But what does that show? That shows that together you can carry more weight and you can get through something as opposed to being by yourself. You guys with me? Okay. So never stop showing up. Continue to show up. Never stop trying, number one, to get out of that area of isolation or that place that you were in that brought you to that slump, okay? So that's good. So keep showing up. Tina.
Get back to basics. Like I
Yes.
have a slump July, August, September. 3 months, no closing.
Yeah.
And here I am a seasoned agent at 13 years in, but it happened. So I got back to basics. What did I learn when Monica had Fast Track? Get to the open house. Reach out to your sphere of influence. Like, you're never too old to go back to the basics. And you know, I had a realtor come to my open house last week. Would you still do open houses? You've been doing this business for 13 years. I said, yeah, why? She said, I don't do them anymore. I said, well, why is that? She goes, they don't work for me. I don't get anything out of them. Like, so you're not doing open houses because they don't work. You don't get anything out of them. You stay home on weekends when you have more of an opportunity to be there. Like, you could meet this one person. So definitely get back to basics.
I love that. Get back to basics. Don't isolate. Back to the basics. That's such a great point. And let me just say this to you too. Think about that, what you just said. You could either go to a place where you're allowing yourself to have potential conversation opportunities, or you could just stay at home.
And that's what she was doing.
Yeah. Or you could just stay at home and do nothing. You know, doing nothing doesn't produce something.
And she was from another company. She
Yeah.
came from the neighborhood.
Yeah.
But after she left, she goes, you know what? I think I'm going to get back to it.
Yeah.
But
That's
it does
awesome.
take skills in doing open houses. You know, we have that secret recipe that we do too. So our open houses do work.
Well, I didn't share.
Yeah, yeah. But if-
Yeah. That's right.
If you don't know what to do, yeah, you probably won't have success.
Right.
There's a knack to having successful ones, and of course you know that. So.
Well, that's a great point too, because think about this. You ever see, so a lot of people can do the same thing you do, but they're not doing the same thing you do. Right? So just because they do an open house doesn't mean they're doing it right. A lot of people go to the gym, but not everybody has the same results. You ever see somebody who's like going to the gym for 10 years and you're like, I didn't know. All right, you go? That's great. I didn't know. But then you see some people who go and you're like, oh, I can tell you go to the gym. Why? Because it's evident. It shows you do something different when you're at the gym and it causes a different result to be seen. So just because somebody does the same thing you do doesn't mean they're doing the same thing you do. Just because everybody's in real estate doesn't mean everybody's getting the same results, right? So it's all about learning how to be a success in what you do, finding that groove, going back to, again, the things that are going to help. And that goes back to authenticity and uniqueness and individuality. Every single person in here is different than each other. You all have your own unique fingerprint, and you all have your own specific DNA, and you are all made up a certain way that only you will be successful in the way that you do it, being you. You can't be me, you can't be Tina, you can't be Lisa, you can't be Darren, you can't be anybody specific except yourself. Now, you might learn from them. You might be able to then take what you hear from people and then tailor that into what is you, But you've got to be you in order for you to be successful. You can't change you. In other words, I say, yes, you can change you, but you can't change you in the sense of being someone else without being who you really are. You've got to be authentic. You've got to be real, and you've got to be yourself. You've got to let who your personality is be that person that connects with that person you're speaking to. It's your personality, your individuality, your uniqueness is going to bring you success. That's just how it's going to work. Now, like I said, yes, you're going to pick up things, you're going to learn stuff, and then you can maybe, learn how to apply that, and then by role playing and then figuring out how to deliver it and all that stuff, you can get yourself to be, more skilled and trained and better in your delivery. But again, it takes practice, and it takes time, and it takes repetition, right? I say this, practice makes permanent, doesn't make perfect. When I was a wrestler, I wrestled in high school, and my wrestling coach said to me when we were doing something, he said, practice makes what? I'm like, perfect. He's like, no, it doesn't. He's like, it makes permanent, because if you practice wrong, then you're going to be doing it wrong. So it's not about just practice making perfect, it's permanent. Yes?
My kids and I say practice makes practice.
I like that. Yeah.
You gotta keep practicing to get better, and you're gonna keep getting better to keep practicing. You just become more practiced.
That's right. And that's a good point, because, again, it'll help you sometimes, especially then if you have a coach or you have a trainer or you have a manager or you have a BIC or somebody who can help you, or a mentor that can help you see things that maybe you're doing wrong. My daughters play, volleyball, and my son plays baseball and football, but, their coaches will sometimes see a thing that they do. Sophia, my daughter Sophia, is very good at what she does in volleyball, but she had a coach, my daughter Jaylee's coach, that she went to one of her practices with, and she showed her how to serve a certain way that wasn't hurting her shoulder. Before she was doing it, it was hurting her shoulder. Well, the one coach showed her how to do it without hurting her shoulder. Just from, again, a skilled eye to help make an improvement, and now she would do it and she would practice it differently. So again, practice makes permanent, and repetition creates recognition. The more you repeat that thing, the more you recognize that thing, and then the more, muscle memory and, kicks in, and then the more you get the flow with it a lot better. So great. Go back to basics. Don't isolate. Continue to stay connected. What's another thing that somebody like to share that can help get them, or has gotten them past, these slow times or low times or whatever it was? People who have done this before and who've been in it for a little bit of time. Anyone want to share anything?
Not listening to that. When you talk about isolation and everything, you get this voice in your head. You got to get rid of that voice in your head.
Can y'all talk just slightly louder? We're back here, we can't hear because
Just
the
talking
I
about
apologize.
that voice in your head that when you're in a slump.
Yeah.
Says, oh, nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to happen. You have to get that voice out of your head, and you have to get out there. And you have to remember, sometimes I thought, oh, this is it. I'm done. And then the next day, you're working with 5 people.
Yeah.
So you realize that.
Yeah.
But you also have to surround your people who have that like thought, and that gets back to what you're talking about there. And I keep on my desktop people that are closed, and everything. Look at that. It'll happen. And then down below, I have people that aren't currently working with me, but they're an opportunity. And I said, well, I've got 8 opportunities right here that are going to be coming my way very shortly. So, just
And where do you have this, Karen?
on my computer, every time I
Does it
open up my
have
screen.
something similar, but on a whiteboard
Yeah.
at home?
Right. So
And it's what's the contracts and what's prospects and who's coming to town. And I look at it every day because I have to say sometimes I forget.
Yes.
So whenever I open up my computer, I just have files for everyone, kind of started. If I've had some sort of contact with them, they're on the bottom, or they're up where they're under contract, or whether they're sold, And
good.
so it really reminds you every
Keep it
time you
running.
flip in that computer.
Have to.
Open, it really energizes you a little bit, because I said it's going to happen. It really will. I talked. One guy talked about how the windshield is much bigger than the rear view mirror. So don't look in that rear view mirror, just look through the windshield. And
I like that.
back, so.
That's great. Thank you for sharing that. So what my takeaway from that is quiet the noise, because you're going to have noise in your ear from the internal voice that says, "What are you even doing? Why are you even having you're not going to get out of this. You're stuck in this." And you can only see as far as you can look at. I mean, that's you're just looking at this one. You just keep looking at the failure. You just keep looking at that stuff, and the voice is just telling you, you got the angel on the one side, the devil on the other, and they're just yapping in your ear, trying to tell you, no, you're not going to make it. You're done now, son. You can't get through this. This is the end. You might as well just go ahead and give it up, just hang it up, go ahead and try something else. And then that voice in your head, that voice in the shower, that voice when you're walking, that voice when you're sitting down trying to eat, it's constantly in your ear. You got to shut the noise down. You got to quiet the noise. So you got to quiet the noise. And one of the best ways to quiet the noise is to replace it with something else. Like going back to the basics, going back to making sure that you stay connected. Get somebody you can talk to. Start listening to something that can drown that out and that can overpower that noise, right? So that's great, awesome, good stuff so far. So what we have, if you want to take a picture of this, I'm probably erase it. So don't isolate. Get back to the basics. Quiet the noise, and then I have some additional things here we're going to talk about. I think I'm going to bring next time. I'm going to bring my smart board so I can just hit.
This is sort of a real estate joke along these lines. It's really all you have to do is plan a vacation. Because that's every time. Like, or if you have nothing for weeks, and then I'm getting in the car to drive 12 hours away, and suddenly the phone rings. Oh, I want to see properties this weekend. What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So plan a vacation.
Plan a vacation.
That's
a good one.
Vacation. Yeah.
I like it.
That's what I was gonna say. Sometimes just taking a break, having fun with friends one night, just get back to being around positive, encouraging people. I mean, not so much in real estate. I haven't been doing it that long, but in life.
Yeah.
Sometimes just getting out and just taking a few hours and having fun.
Yeah, that's a good point. Have fun, stay connected. Yep.
How many more still need the playbook? I'm back here like
Thank you, Monica.
three left. Okay, thank you.
All right. Yes, go ahead.
The pep talks that I received, so not to underestimate pep talks because they really made a difference to me. I got a bunch of them
Nice.
from people, and it really helped. I can't wait to give pep talks when I get experience.
I love it. That's so good. No, that's great.
If you're not getting pep talks, you need to come to work for a while.
That's right. I'll tell you what, I'm grateful.
You were saying about how you see somebody on social media, like they're doing great, and you feel like, oh, what are they doing, whatever. I'm the total opposite. I see somebody on social media like Lisa, Tina. I see them, all of these closings. I'm the one that I want to go. I'm like, what do you do? How are you doing it? I pick their brain.
That's
I just
great.
want to know, like, what are you doing different?
Yeah.
Teach me, give me something.
I love it.
So that's my thought on it. I don't get jealous or anything like that. I just want to know
That's
what
good.
they're doing.
Yeah. Listen, I've always been that abundance mentality anyway. There's enough pie for everyone. Some people have a scarcity mentality. Some people have abundant mentality. I'm abundance mentality. I'm about, look, there's plenty of business for everyone, right? Success leaves clues. People get nervous, like, well, how can you put so much free content out there? Because a lot of people aren't going to use it anyway. They're going to skip right past it. They don't do anything with it anyway. That's why. Because I put it, but there'll be a few that are out there that'll grab it, right? And so, so you can constantly put stuff out there. And for me, I'm always looking to, man, you're doing great. You're killing it. What are you doing? What's making you successful? Share some secrets. And people who are successful typically do.
Well, and another thing too to think about, and I'm sure many of us have heard this before, think about the 5 people that you are closest to. Do you need to weed some of them out of your life? Are those 5 people bringing you up or bringing you down? I mean, it's something you really need to consider. I had to evaluate that several years ago. Surround yourself with people that are like-minded, that are going to lift you up, help you be that better person. Yeah. So important of who you have in your sphere, in your surroundings. I mean, it's important.
That's what he was talking about, the voice in your head. It ain't always the voice in your head that's your enemy.
You got the voice that's talking out here, right? Yeah, so definitely, always keep that in mind.
I can't believe you're not, you should be out doing this,
Yeah.
Get a real job.
Yeah.
One of my friends, my
second week of class. That's a lot of work for no pay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your support.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're going to have some people try to talk you right out of it. Yep.
Do you know how long it's gonna be before you get your first salary?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I,
Done
I,
anything yet?
I got the same thing. I came home one day. And told my wife I quit my job. She said, "What are you gonna do?" I've been detailing cars part time.
Mm-hmm.
I started my whole business. Guess what you can do? I said, I'm gonna take this business full time. I'll start doing detailing full time. She goes, "We're gonna start with this." I go, "No, we'll be okay."
You still
I
married?
said, "I can cut back.
Yeah.
I can cut." I said, "You look at me until I ain't started." I said, "I can cut back on eating. We'll let the Lord drive. We'll see what happens."
Amen.
So, we're 5 years in now.
There you go.
I'm not wealthy, but if I need to take off to go to a real estate class, here I am. I'm on schedule.
Yeah.
So,
The journey's just as fun as the paycheck.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, who cares that it takes a while?
Absolutely.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. So with all that being said, who are you allowing around you, and whose voice are you letting be the voice that gets in? So you can choose whoever and whatever you want to listen to. You can choose that, right? So one of my Bible instructors said when I was in Bible school, just because a bird flies over your head doesn't mean you have to let it make a nest in your hair. In other words, just because a thought comes in your mind doesn't mean you have to let it stay. You can decide what you think on, or you can decide on what you want let in or let out. Like I use the example, like you have to have a bouncer at the door of your mind checking the ID of every thought on whether it should stay or not. Is it allowed to stay, or does it need to be thrown out? And that's up to you. That's how you, and again, you've got to allow your circle of influence, the people that are around you, to be the right people, because if you have the wrong people, you're going to go down and it's gonna bring you down. So keep yourself surrounded by the right people. Thank you, Monica. Never stop showing up either. That's the one thing. Yes, you can take a break every now and then to let yourself refresh and all, but ultimately continue to show up, right? Never quit when you're in a slump. My son Jace was in a slump for batting, for baseball, but one of the best ways to get out of the slump is to keep going to the plate. You got to go to the plate, because if you don't go to the plate, you're definitely guaranteed to not succeed if you don't try again. That's the guarantee of not succeeding, is don't try again.
Exactly.
Right? You've got to keep trying. You've got to keep showing up. So what did we do? Jace kept going up to the plate, striking out, hitting the ball, not getting on base. He's frustrated. At times he would come back. You can see he's just defeated. And it's like, okay, we got to keep showing up. But then what we were doing after the fact, we were going to the batting cage. We're getting them personal, private lessons, how to swing better, use his, stance better, all the different things, how to load and all the different things to get himself. Now, all of a sudden, he started showing up, kept showing up, hits the ball. Next thing you know, he's the best hitter on the team, right? Why? Because he didn't quit. He kept showing up, and he was adjusting, and he was trying to figure out, how to get better. So keep showing up, keep talking to people. In this business, what does that mean? Keep showing up. That means keep talking to people. I remember somebody said that to me a long time ago when I was selling cars. I was maybe not selling or whatever, not getting a deal, and manager said, just keep talking to people, Joe. That's all you need to do. Just keep having conversations, because that's all it's about. Sales.
I said the same thing to Z this morning, right? She said, "What do you do?" I said, "I just talk to anybody and everybody."
Yeah.
I said, "It's at the point my neighbor was like, the crazy lady's walking down the street on the other side."
Yeah.
But I'll talk to someone in the grocery store, online, or at a gas station.
And she wears her name tag to bed and in the shower.
Yeah.
Name tag everywhere.
I love that. Lisa does too. She's always wearing, talk to trees. I love it. But listen, you got to keep talking to people. But it's a huge part of, again, that's how we get business, is from conversations. Conversations, you just continue to have a conversation. Eventually you'll get around to, if you know how to ask the right questions, you'll get around to discovering whether or not. I'm constantly having conversations. I was on a plane coming back from Michigan and talking to somebody about something. We were just talking, and next thing you know, I'm handing out my wife's card. They're thinking about maybe buying something, a second home in Myrtle Beach. Why? Because I'm having conversations, right? You have to keep talking.
And make sure that your significant significant other, your kids, if they're adult kids, have your business cards. Make sure people have your business cards to hand out on your behalf. That's important.
Because if you don't talk to people and you don't let people know, then you're a secret agent.
Yep,
You're not gonna
exactly.
get it.
Yeah. You do not want to be a 007 agent in this business, right? You do not want to be like, oh, I didn't know you did that. That was the worst thing in the world when I was selling cars, when I knew family and friends that were buying cars somewhere else. And they're like, oh, I didn't even know you sold. I had no idea that you sold cars. Oh, I didn't know you were a realtor. Well, shame on me, right? Why? Because I'm giving them, they're getting a disservice by not going through me. No one's going to take better care of them than I am. You've got to believe that about yourself. You've got to believe that the best service they'll get is when they work with you, right? So again, keep talking to people, keep showing up, keep working opportunities, keep presenting, keep learning, and don't take a shortcut. See, what happens too many times in business is if we're now not doing business, we try to get quickly to the sale part of it, to close. We try to get to the close quicker than we should. We skip all sorts of steps, and then we just short circuit the whole entire thing. We push them away because they get a little bit, oh man, you're a little pushy now. Because now we're selling out of desperation, and we need to make a deal now, as opposed to going back to the basics and having conversations and not skipping the important side of things by asking the right questions. We need to not take a shortcut, not skip a step, because shortcuts create pay cuts. You lose money when you shortcut yourself and you try to make it quicker and try to get to the close faster than you need to. If you do it, see, one of the things I always like to say about closing is it's like these doors, right? They're on hinges. People don't realize that the hinges are all greased up so that the door can easily open and close. If there's no grease on the hinge, then it makes the shutting of the door and the close of the door that much harder. It's a harder close. Now it still can close sometimes, but it's a harder close without the proper oil or lubrication or grease, whatever you put on there, right? So you got to make sure that you're doing all those things that you do up to the close. It's greasing the hinge so that it makes it an easier close. You're never going to come out of a slump by just waiting for the slump to go away. You've got to actively work on getting out of it. Are you guys with me? You got to keep showing up. Keep coming to the plate. Keep getting dressed up for the game, right? And keep going to the plate, trying to hit the ball to get to first base. So if you're currently in a slump, what you need to do is you need to identify the root. Identify the root. What's the root cause? Identify the root cause. Okay? Analyze your recent activities. What's changed? So if you're not able to get, a deal, so in the sales, there's processes that we have, right? So selling cars, there was a guy who I was working with who's 20-year veteran selling cars. In the back pocket, he had a 10-step process that he has laminated. After every customer, he pulls it out and looks through it to make sure that he did everything he needed to do. If the deal didn't close, where did I miss it? Where did I miss it? Where did I go wrong? Analyze where the breakdown may have fallen. What changed from the last time I closed the deal to now? What changed? Has something happened that I can pinpoint as an influencer, or maybe the exact thing that put that stagnation and that slump into motion? When did that thing start? Did something change in me? Did something change in the way that I speak to my customer? Did something change in the way that I was, presenting? Did I not ask the right questions? What was the breakdown? Did I not handle the objection or what they brought up as what they thought was an issue? Did I not handle that properly? Right? So ask yourself, identify the root cause by asking yourself, analyzing your activity. Where's the breakdown? What changed? What caused things to start going sideways? If a client walks away and says, no, I'm good, I'm going to go ahead and just keep looking. So one of the things, why do people buy? Here's the question I want you to always try to ask yourself. Why do people buy? What makes somebody say yes? What is it that makes somebody say yes? And did you ever go somewhere that you wanted to buy something, but you ended up not buying it? You left without buying it, and you were like aggravated because you really wanted to buy it? But there's multiple reasons why. There could be reasons why you didn't buy it. So what is it that makes people buy, and what is it that causes people to not buy? Experience, right? So experience or lack of experience.
Like the overall purchasing experience, like if I go to a car dealership,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna buy it, I hate it.
Right.
But if I, went into a clothes store and there's a woman there helping me, then I'm gonna buy it, because it's just making it easier.
Well, and again, see, for me, when I was selling cars, you know how many times I'd have people driving home going, thank you so much, but when they walked in, they said, I'm not buying today. So I, for me, love when I can get somebody who has that, oh, no, I'm not buying. I'm not here to buy anything today. I'm just looking. And because I know in my mind, I know I'm just looking doesn't mean I'm not buying. It just truly means what they're doing right at that moment. They are just looking until they find something they want to buy, and they have the right person to help them, and they have the right experience giving them confidence that they can say yes at that moment. Because everybody hates going. I even hate buying a car, and I'm in the car business. I'm serious. I do. I hate it. I hate the whole process of it. Because I understand the same thing that you understand. It's annoying. It's long. It's dragged out. It's very pushy. They try to close me on something I don't want. All that stuff. So why do people buy and why do they not buy? Experience or lack of experience, or the actual experience with the salesperson, with the dealership, everything, all those things, right? Same thing now. Why are people not buy when they look at houses? Why, when you show them a house, anybody show more than 5 houses to a buyer before? Do you ever ask yourself after the second one, what's going on here? Or after the 10th one, what's happening here? You've got to discover what's the buying motive. Somebody said it, the dominant buying motive. Somebody said it the other day. I forget who it was.
Oh, yeah, Randy.
Yeah, the dominant buying motive. What's the dominant buying motive? What's causing people to not say yes? What's causing people to say yes? So why do people buy? You've got to ask yourself when you're sitting in that slump, did I ask them the right questions? One of the most important questions I ask in anything when it comes to sales is, what are you trying to accomplish ultimately? What's your goal? So what's your goal? What do you want to accomplish? What would you like to see happen? Well, we're just starting. Perfect. Great. There's always a starting point. What are you trying to accomplish ultimately? Well, I want this, I want that, I want this, and I want that. Great. Awesome. All right. Then you ask more questions. Because what I've discovered is the more questions I ask, or the better questions that I ask, the better information I get. Right? So ask all the right questions. So what are you trying to accomplish ultimately? What would you like to see happen? Since you've started, what's your goal? What needs to happen in order for this all to come together? Okay? What needs to happen? How do you plan on paying for it? Do you need to sell a home? Are you currently working with somebody right now? Have you had any conversations with any buyer agents or anyone else before? Have you had any conversations with this? How long have you been looking to do this? What's going to make you say yes? What needs to align in order for this all to work out? Like, I just try to I'll ask as many questions as I can. Look, I know you probably don't want to keep going through this, right? I know you probably don't want to drag this out as long as you can. The most easy way to get something is you want to figure out, look, you didn't start this so that you can continue this for the next 50 days or 100 days or months or years, right? Years. I mean, I'm sure you all had those customers or those clients, right? Yeah. And I get it. Some people you can say all the right stuff. They're not saying yes. They're not. They just can't pull the trigger, right? I get it. So that happens. But, you know, and that's where patience kicks in. My wife's very patient with at times where she'll be able to let things go a little bit longer, and then she's able to discover things more, right? So, but at the same time, what is it that's happening? What are you trying to accomplish? And then you start looking at yourself. Well, what did I ask? Did I ask all the right questions? Did I not ask the right questions? Am I getting in the way? Am I maybe if we expand your search, are you open to that? Asking the questions. Are you open to maybe looking at something a little bit less or a little bit more? You provide those opportunities, let them guide them in those questions so that they can help figure it out, talk it out, right? Now, look, I just real quick wanted to say that you said this before when you first started. Now you're saying this. What's more important? Is it this or is it that? Or are we just changing? Because that can happen too, right? So, and I'm okay with that, but I just want to make sure that again, I'm only following your lead based off of what you're telling me, and that's why we're looking here. But it sounds to me like now things have changed, and that happens all the time.
You need to get to the dissatisfaction they're trying to solve. Is it a new house, new amenities? Is a lot too small where they are? They're looking for a larger lot. If you can get to that core dissatisfaction, and that's ultimately what drove them to come into that door anyway.
Yeah.
The next one.
Yeah.
They're trying to solve something that they don't like about their existing car or existing house.
Yep.
You think that's true?
I think it's true. You're a solution provider. You're trying to provide solutions based off of problems that are getting in the way to say yes. So I always say to salespeople, you're not a salesperson, you're a solution provider. That's all you are. You provide solutions to what the problem is that's holding them back from saying yes, right? There's a problem, or maybe not necessarily a problem. There's something that needs to change, or they want to change something. What's the thing that they want to change? What's the thing that they're trying to accomplish that they haven't been able to accomplish yet? And that, again, it's that dissatisfaction. Where is that you are telling me you want this? What's holding you back then? What's getting in the way? So again, you got to find the root, identify that root cause that's causing you to get into that slump. And maybe it's the fact that you haven't asked the right questions. Maybe you haven't been able to discover those clues, because everybody's going to, again, many times people aren't always going to just tell you. You've got to dig and find that treasure, right? And sometimes it's, to find treasure, you got to go through a lot of dirt sometimes to get it, right? And so the dirt sometimes is just all the stuff that they're just afraid. They don't want to disclose, and they don't want to let you know, because people think that, and as much as, you're not a salesperson just trying to make a paycheck, that's what they think sometimes, especially in the car industry. But, when it comes to real estate, even now, like you have, especially with all the changes and the different commission structures and stuff, people think, all you really care about is just making a sale anyway. So you don't really care. Like that's how they approach sometimes a realtor or a salesperson. Well, you're just a salesperson anyway, so all you care about is just making your commission. Wow, you made a big commission on this one, didn't you?
Finding out who the decision maker is too in this whole process. Stuart and I had a couple that came into an open house, and they were kind of equally balanced.
Mm-hmm.
And we showed them a couple different properties, similar properties, as far as the condo. But I just asked them, like towards the end, I said, which one is, when you're laying in bed tonight, which one of these are you going to be decorating, and which one is going to be on your mind?
Yeah.
And it just rang true to them. Well, it's going to be that one. So maybe we should focus on that, and it was, she was the decision maker in this,
Yeah.
tell,
Yeah. That's good.
You just kind of go after her like a vampire.
That's good.
Suck that all out of her.
No, that's great.
If you let her talk, and then she's the one pointing out all the positive attributes to it, and the husband finally, you're doing this, the husband's eventually doing that, and there you go, everybody's in agreement.
Yeah.
That
I love that.
head nod of, you're right.
Yep.
I mean, you're telling them they're right without even, you're not non-verbally.
Yeah. And sometimes, people need nudges sometimes, right? So you give them those little nudges. Wow, it sounds to me like, from what you're telling me, it sounds to me like you might have found it, right? Sometimes just by asking that question, well, it sounds to me like there's a possibility that we think we might have found it. What do you think?
Checks all the boxes.
Yeah.
Like I've done that with people, thinking
Yeah.
you wanted this yard or this school district or this,
Yeah.
found it.
Yeah.
Here's all the things
Yeah.
that you said you wanted, and here it is.
Right.
So, kind of tell them.
That's right.
That this is what you said, and we did it.
Right. What do you think? Right? Yeah. All right. So then let's put an offer in. And then so you guide them, right? Same thing. I've had in selling cars, sit across from me. I don't know, man. Something. I'm not sure. I just shut the whole thing down and say, listen, it sounds to me like you're not sold on this. Do you even like the vehicle? I would honestly say, like, do you even like the vehicle? I mean, because if you don't, do you love the vehicle? I don't really love it. Well, then let's find you something you love. I mean, we're on the wrong vehicle. I would literally come in on deals with salespeople that are on the wrong vehicle. They don't even have the customers just going through the motions because the salesperson is just dragging them along. It's like, no, and maybe you're trying to push a house. It's not the right house. Are we on the right house? This sounds to me like you don't even love this house. So let's find the one you love. Let's keep going. You know what that says to them? Wow, they listen and they care. And if you can get them to realize that you do care and you're doing what's best for them, you're trying to meet what they're trying to accomplish based off of what they told you. And again, you're not a mind reader, so you can only go based off of what they tell you. And that's why it's so important to get as much as you can from them and have them tell you as much as possible. Because they will not, many times, freely just give it up. Sometimes you'll get that person who will just tell you everything. And they'll just tell you stuff you don't even wish you knew. I don't think I need to know that, but they'll tell you. So, but it's a good thing. Again, you want to make sure that you're asking the right questions and you're trying to identify what's the root cause of this thing. Where did I miss it? Did I not do something? Was I supposed to do something better? Where did I miss it? So again, number one, identify the root cause. Number two, shift your mindset and your energy. Okay? You guys got this? Take a picture of this. Anybody need to do that? You guys good? Good? Okay.
You guys, you can pull that buyer's consultation that you guys have on your Electric University. Pull that, know that buyer's consultation backwards and forwards. You can do that buyer consultation in your sleep, so you can focus more on a lot of what Joe is saying about hitting the right spots with them when you're doing that interview, consultation, whatever you want to call it, with that buyer. If you've got that buyer consultation well known, you're going to be able to get everything identified, like Joe was mentioning, and before you leave your conference room or wherever to go out and show properties, you pretty well know that, like I told you guys before, if you're showing more than 5 properties, you didn't ask enough questions in the consultation. Okay? More than 5, you missed something in the consultation question. So keep that in mind.
I love that. So shift your mindset and your energy. Reframe the slump. In other words, look at it from a different perspective. Okay, well, I'm in a slump. Well, now look at it and say, okay, what can I learn then from here? Where can I pull out of this something that can better me? Don't just look at it as a failure, but look at it as a way to get better, right? Frames create focus, right? Frames create focus. Look at that frame right there. That frame creates a focus of the picture that's inside the frame. So frames create focus. When you have a frame, you want to be able to, again, frame around whatever it is that you're looking at and say, what is it that I'm trying to get from this? Where did I miss it and how can I get better? All right? Then focus on what you can control. Where your focus goes, your energy flows, right? Where your focus goes, that's the energy, the money, the time, the things that you put into that focus. Where your focus goes, your energy flows. Then keep yourself focused on what you can control and don't worry about the things you can't control. I'll say that again. Focus on the things you can control and don't worry about the things you can't control. So it is easier said than done, but if you can control it, Don't worry about the things you can control because you can control it. Don't worry about the things you can't control because you can't control it. Therefore, just don't worry. Yeah, easier said than done, right? Someone said worry is like a rocking chair. It gives you something to do, but you go nowhere by doing it, right? So it's just a matter of making sure that you constantly put your focus in an area on what you can control. What can you control? Well, you can control your activity. You can control your effort. You can stay proactive and not just reactive, right? Too many times in life we become reactive, especially when we're in a negative situation. We become reactive to the situations. We're just constantly reacting instead of taking a proactive, offensive stance and not just being defensive and reactive. Proactive makes it say, well, no, I'm going to change this. I'm going to do something different about my efforts. I'm going to do something about my mindset. I'm going to do something about what I think on. I'm going to do something about the way I talk. All that stuff, because the way you think is the way you talk. Listen to the words that you say. And your words can identify real quick what you think and how you feel about something. Daily affirmations and visualization. You got to set a positive tone every morning. Say certain things out loud. An affirmation is saying something that's going to affirm you rather than something that's going to hurt you. Oh man, this sucks. This is terrible. I don't know how I'm going to get out of this. I mean, we're doomed. I'm done. I'm done. I'm finished with this. No, all that right there, you got to change it. Change it. Focus on what you can control. Speak life. Life and death is in the power of your tongue. What you say, your words are containers that hold power to create or destroy. And the words that you speak, the things that you say can either create or destroy what you're trying to accomplish. And what you say can also create what you see. Too many times all we do is we say what we see instead of saying what's in here, what we want to see. We got to see something different, so we got to start saying what we want to see, not just saying what we see.
I'm going to add something to that real quick, because that's exactly the point of a lot of what we do. So, how many of you pay attention to certain vehicles on the road? Do you pay attention?
Mm-hmm.
So, my challenge for this month ahead, as we'll meet with Joe, the first Wednesday of March, pick something out for what it is. It might be red Volvos or red bugs, or I want you to choose a vehicle. It has to be a specific color and a specific model car, and I want you to keep track of how many of those specific models and cars you see from now until we meet again on the Wednesday in March. I want you to do that. You'll be amazed at what your brain does paying attention to that. I want you to pick a color, and I want you to pick a particular model of a vehicle. It doesn't matter. It can be whatever you want it to be, but it's got to be that color, that model. And I want you to pay attention when you're driving everything. Keep track of it. We're gonna do a count on this next. Yep. Yeah. Exactly. So, because what you think, what you see is what you focus on, right? So I want you to. That's gonna be one of your challenges for this month. So do that, okay? And then next month we'll be talking about it.
Yeah.
If
I love
you ever get a new car, and you go, man, I love that color. Man, that's a great car. And you buy it, and you say, I've never seen one of those. Before you get home, you sing sick.
Yeah. I agree.
Exactly.
Yep. 100%.
The car I even drive, like this car I drive,
yep.
I see so many of them now on
yep.
the road. When I first got mine, there were like not any on the road. And
yep.
Now I just about walked and got in the wrong vehicle the other day. I need to put wiper back on my car.
I love it. So again, focus on the controllables. Okay? The things that you can control, your attitude, your effort, your actions, your thoughts, your words. Okay? Practice gratitude. If you haven't done this, inside your playbook, I forget what page it's on, but let's see. Yeah, I know, right? Go to page 16. Yeah. Page 20. Well, on yours it's page 16. Yeah. Yeah. There's multiple ones. Yeah, there's 20 also. Yep. Yeah, we have a lot of them in there. I think after each week there's one. So, but yeah, so we got 16 or 20. There's even more, but gratitude. Write down what you're grateful for. Positive affirmations. Reset your mindset. Right? Surround yourself with high energy and high performing people. Champions. You want to be around champions. You want to keep yourself around people who are successful, who've succeeded, who've achieved certain things that you want to achieve. Keep yourself surrounded by that. Okay? Number 3, you want to increase your activity. As much as you want to sometimes shrink back and do less, you got to do more. Increase your activity. The times that you feel like you're just, spinning your wheels and nothing's getting you anywhere and you've tried everything you could and now you just feel like you're just not still gaining any ground. Let me just share with you a great example. Has anyone ever heard of the Chinese bamboo tree? Have you ever heard of that before? So the Chinese bamboo tree, it's great. If you look it up on YouTube, Les Brown, it's an awesome thing. But Les Brown talks about the Chinese bamboo tree, right? And the Chinese bamboo tree, it's a tree that it's bamboo, and it's interesting because when it's planted in the ground, you've got to water and fertilize the ground that it's planted in every single day for 5 years before it even breaks through. It doesn't even break through the ground until 5 years. But then once it breaks through the ground, it grows 90 feet tall in 5 weeks. So you think about to yourself, well, what does that mean? Well, that means that you might be doing a lot of activity that doesn't look like it's producing any results, but then all of a sudden, like Tina was saying, she had gone 3 months, nothing, and then all of a sudden, here we are, 6 closings just this last month, right? So because you have to increase your activity. Your activity creates something to happen, and even though it might not be seen on the outside, people are like, wow, you're still doing that, huh? How many have you sold? Well, not as many as I like, but don't worry, because it's going to break through. Because if you keep doing the things that you need to do and the activities that are necessary to get you the results, that's going to break through. Now, maybe sometimes, some customers are the Chinese bamboo tree. It takes 5 years to get the deal, right? Yeah. And then some will be, here's the thing, every seed is different. Some seed reacts differently and quickly, where you could just, have that customer who all of a sudden talks to you, and in a week later they're saying, let's go. And they're putting an offer accepted, and now you're on your way to the closing table. And then you have the others that take a while. So you don't know what part or what place or what stage someone they're in with that seed. There could have been things that have been, watering that seed and fertilizing it without you even realizing it. So then all of a sudden they come in contact with you, and then it breaks through pretty quickly, right? So again, you've got to increase your activity because activity creates activity. Activity creates activity. It's just the way it works. You got to do more of the right stuff and sometimes stop doing the wrong stuff.
And that might also mean coming into your offices, just so you're focused and doing the things that are necessary instead of trying to do them from home. Those of you that have been in the room, that are in the room that have been with us, like when we were dealing with COVID and had to figure out a way to work from home, those days are over now, guys. Come into your offices and work. You'll get energy from the people that you're around and stuff like that too. But if you're not a good focuser at home, then home isn't where you should be doing stuff. Get your behind into one of the offices and be around other people. It will help you stay focused. It will encourage you, and it will drive you to do more because you'll see your friend, neighbor, colleague, doing more, and it will make a difference in your business if you're in that struggle zone.
Huge point.
Yeah. Because I remember when I started out, all the offices were packed with agents, Teddy and Sean, and I loved coming in to learn from them and their brain.
And of course, that's also those of us that were used to, because back then you had to come into the office to get work done because we couldn't do it from this.
Right.
We had to, now, yes, it's gotten easier because we can do business from here. But if you are in a place where you need to grow your business, you need to get your business rolling and stuff, being at home is not where it's going to happen. It will not happen at home. You gotta get yourself into the offices, be around like-minded people that will help you and encourage you and do all those things to help you get where you need to go.
And I've offered, and I still
Yes.
offer,
Yes.
if anybody wants to meet me in any of the offices, anytime, schedule it, and I will be there.
And she is awesome. She's way better than me.
And I love
So
to help
she is, as
people.
far as helping people with, all that stuff. I mean, I'm here to help keep you legal and stuff, but
Yeah, I will
Tina,
keep you legal.
Darren, Stuart, Randy, Shelley, they're all great people to learn from. They're out there, they're doing the activities, watching them, doing what they're doing is gonna get you to where you wanna go.
That's right.
But you have to schedule it. You have to make it happen. You can't say, I'd like to try that one day. No. Monday, I'm meeting Paula in the office and we're gonna go over this. Tuesday, I'm meeting Shelley and we're gonna go over this. What time? I'll be there. Put it in the book, schedule it, make it happen.
Randy, you fall under one of those mentor categories. People are learning from you.
Yes, they are.
Or else Tina texts me and asks me what time we have to be somewhere. And so we keep each other on our toes.
So you have to remember that you have to time block. If and again, everybody's organization skills are different. Some people can't time block. I'm not time blocking. But you got to learn how to basically do things differently sometimes to get different results, right? If you think, I'm not, it's not me. Well, maybe it needs to be you. Start asking yourself, well, maybe I need to change the way I do things. Just because you never did it or it's not how you did things doesn't mean you can't do those things, right? So you have to figure out a way to either do things differently or do different things to get different results, right? So time block, calendar. Use your calendar on your phone. I'm kind of like yesterday. I picked my dog up, set up their 7-week haircut for the next 7 weeks. You know what I did? I immediately put it right in my calendar because I'll forget. I've gotten to something. I forgot one time. You're supposed to be here with Stanley. I'm like, I'm on my way. Sorry, totally forgot. Didn't have it in my calendar. So time block, structure your day around income producing activities, put in your calendar the things that you need to do inside this playbook. You'll see there's areas of focus. You have areas of focus in here on page 7 specifically. Then you have daily routine, things that you can look at as far as phone calls, emails, text messages. You have closing opportunities. You have daily planners that show daily activities and goals that you can use to review.
Everybody love this playbook. I've got more back here.
Yeah, this is
awesome.
You like it?
I love it.
Oh, good.
It's really good.
And so you have all these things. This was made specific for you so you can use this to help you stay, reminded. Everybody needs to be reminded. We need to remind ourselves, right?
The cool thing is, and why Joe and I have connected so well is when we were talking back a while ago, he had no idea that Whiteford already had to turn on. We have our playbooks in our Whiteford University stuff. He had no clue.
No idea.
He started talking to me about he wanted to put together something and he thought he wanted to call it a playbook or something like that. I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm like, well, that's what Whiteford's known for. Call them playbooks.
That's awesome.
So it was
same language. We're speaking the same language. That is great. Set daily KPIs. What does that mean? Key performance indicators. All right, that's what a KPI is. Your calls made, emails sent, follow-up scheduled, showings booked, increase your outbound calls, follow-up calls, customer touch points, right? Increase your prospecting efforts, right? Expand outreach to new clients. Be active on social media, right? Put yourself in the position to let people see what you do and what you're accomplishing.
And it's free.
It's free. It's free. It's a huge way to help you. And here's the thing too. Use AI. Use ChatGPT, open.ai, whatever it is.
The AI thing, guys, if you haven't registered yet, it is on CCAR now, February 26th. Come to that AI training. We're doing AI training at we got a young guy, some of you know Mike Fitzpatrick, who's going to teach on AI. You want to be there for that. It's going to be a 2-segment, and they're going to feed you as well. It starts at 10, from 10 to 11, and then 11 to 11:30 they're feeding, and then from 11:30 to 12:30 is part 2. You want to be there for that class. February 26th, but you have to register through CCAR to do it, for your academy or whatever on CCAR.
So the thing that you should utilize AI for is help you with messaging. You have your own personal content writer in AI. All you need to do is go to the ChatGPT, and it says, it creates a message, and then you just tell it what you're trying to accomplish. You type in there, I want to send an email or a text message to a client who I showed 6 houses to. They haven't bought yet. What's the best messaging that I need to do in order to do that?
Isn't that cool?
Give me 10 examples. Boom, and it'll drop 10 examples. Then you say, okay, you know what? I like this, but change that. Give me another 6 more. Boom, and it gives you another 6 more. All right, give me more. Boom, and it gives you more. All right, give me more. You just keep asking it, and it'll keep adjusting, and it keeps getting. And then now it starts thinking the way that you want to get it done, and now it starts providing suggestions. It's really cool. Scary too, but it's cool. It's like it's neat. KPI is key performance indicators.
That's what I do to keep up with all of you. Yeah, that's what I do to keep up with all you guys. On Monday morning, just so you guys know, y'all don't even know if I'm doing behind the scenes. So I have to do KPIs every Monday morning that I report to Whiker Corporate.
Oh, I love it.
Done for that week. That's why you have to. We ask for your open house stuff to go to Kinsey and stuff like that because we're reporting that stuff. And then we get rewarded as, you know, where we fall in company line and stuff like that throughout the nation by reporting our stuff. It's really cool. So, yeah.
So number 4, master the basics. In your playbook, I'm going to use yours, Darren. On page 6, you have a reminder of opportunities. How can I strengthen better lead generation strategies? Going back to the basics. Open houses, exactly what Tina was saying. Open houses. I mean, some people like door knocking. I mean, some people never do it. Some people, that's fine.
Door knocking's a little more challenging.
It's a lot challenging. It is, but yeah, but some people will do it. Again, I'm not saying you can do whatever you want. That's the beauty of this business, right? Find what works for you and work it, right? Find what works for you and work it. It might be cold calling. Some of y'all never do that. That's fine. Then don't do it. Then figure out the area that you can do it in. How can you strengthen your lead generation strategy? Host open houses and have an awesome open house plan strategy. Maximize your exposure. Let everybody know you're doing it, right? Leverage social media. Post market insights, testimonials, success stories, videos. Network. Attend community events. You know, we're talking about, you know, Tina wears her name tag. I know my wife wears hers all over the place as well. She'll go to different places as far as, hold on, knock my thing off. She'll go to, practices for the kids or events for the kids, and she has it on. We'll go out to lunch or dinner or somewhere or even breakfast. She'll have it on. And it's just a great opportunity. People are like, oh, I didn't know. Yeah. Hey, I have a quick question. So if I was thinking about selling my house, and then all of a sudden they see the name, right? We got T-shirts made for her, right? Ask me about real estate, like all these different things. So again, attend community events, networking opportunities, whatever is going to be that you want to utilize and leverage. And again, it's not going to be the same for everybody, but you might find, well, I'm going to go to a chamber event, or I'm going to go to this, church event, or whatever it is. And then you have conversations. You're just talking. You're people talking to people, and the conversation leads you exactly to what you can figure out on how to help them. One of the volleyball parents. She was in Spartanburg this past weekend. I was in Myrtle Beach. One of the parents of one of the girls that plays with my daughter, Jaylee, said, hey, Joe, is Lisa here? I said, no, she's not actually. She's with Sophia up in Spartanburg. She's like, oh, okay. She's like, I'll just connect with her on Facebook. We're friends on Facebook. I said, why? Is everything okay? She's like, oh, yeah, no, everything's great. I'm looking to buy a house, actually. I said, you are? Let me text her real quick. So I immediately, I'm like, oh, okay, awesome. Do you have her number? Well, we're connected on Facebook. Let me give you her number. Right? And then I text her. And then so next, they connected. So again, it could just be like that. They know, oh, I saw that. We have her banner hanging up in the facility, the volleyball facility. Big, huge banner.
I noticed it right away.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's right, yeah. So why? So that we could at least just people see her, they'll think of that. That's all top of mind awareness. TOMA. They call it TOMA. Top of mind awareness. Right? So record and review your sales calls, your interactions. Look for opportunities to improve how you speak, right? And then enhance the customer experience. Okay? Enhance customer experience. What does that mean? Change how the customer experience is, the way that you make it better, enhance, make it better, provide value in that experience, right? Market updates, home maintenance tips, financing news, all the different things that you can provide to them. The collaboration center, utilize that to where they're constantly getting these updates, and it's based off of what they've told you. Personalized check-ins, calling in, checking in, texting, past people, clients who purchased, asking for referrals, right? Creating urgency as well. Sometimes you have to understand how to create urgency without being pushy, doing it the right way. Helping customers understand the cost of waiting. Understand the value of doing something versus later, or doing the value of doing something later versus now based off of certain situations. It's knowing the situation, right? And then number 6, you want to stay consistent. Consistency is key. We say this all the time, and that is what you do every day is more important than what you do every once in a while, right? We talked about, going to the gym, and, I'm not going to go 8 hours today, and then I'll go 3 weeks from now. I'm going to the gym today. I'm going to do 8 hours today, and then I'll just get back to it 3 weeks from now. I'll do another 8 hours. No, I'm just going to do it for the next 3 weeks. I'm going to do 20 minutes a day. That's going to get me further results, the consistency, than just one time, maxing out for, 8 hours straight. Keep a pipeline that's completely full. Have that pipeline just packed with opportunities. Just pack that pipeline constantly with opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. Set daily goals. Set daily activity goals. I want to make this many phone calls, this many emails. I want to set this many appointments. I want to schedule this many open houses. I want to set this many showings. You want to have that. Maintain a routine of self-development.
And that's so important because when I started out, I had my open houses booked for a month. You book it for a month, not just upcoming weekends. Right? So I had during the week, weekends, and if that place got under contract, well, then I would just find another one. But I was consistent with my open houses, booking them out for a month.
I love it.
And open houses what blew me to the top.
Yeah.
Me too. Back then, that was, if you do them the right way, and in the market we're in, open houses will help you more than anything else. You can go out and door knock if you want to. Many neighborhoods have the, do not solicitate, kind of have this, it's hard to do that. Keep in mind, we're in a market, I don't know that it's 67% anymore, but I guarantee it's still probably close to 50-50, where it's secondary homes for people.
Mm-hmm.
Open that door,
yep.
It's either going to be vacant or could have a renter, and it's fun to talk to a renter too, but if you're trying to go after like listing opportunities, you want to make sure you're talking to the actual owner of the property and not, somebody else. So you want to make sure that you're doing things that are going to, get you a step further. And as Joe mentioned, consistency is key. That's where that compound effect comes in, guys. I'll share a real fast story if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead. No, we're good.
So I was doing a training thing last week, and they were talking about the little things add up to way more than the big things we do. And so they use the example of a mosquito versus an elephant. And they took an elephant, and they took, it's like an elephant, the lion, an alligator, stuff. And how many people are killed by these things per year? So an elephant tramples 10 people a year or something. I guess it's when people are on safaris, I suppose. And then it talked about alligators and crocodiles and everything. Well, guess what the number one thing is that kills people per year? The mosquito. The mosquito kills over 750,000 people a year. And think how tiny it is. And but mosquitoes affect all of us, right? We're not really going to see an elephant all that often unless we book a safari or we go visit the zoo, but mosquitoes are everywhere. And so none of us are immune to a mosquito, right? So it's all about the little things we do add up to big things
Mm-hmm.
as we go along. So today, let's say you don't like calling people. I was one of those people. I hated calling people. But try 5 calls today.
Mm-hmm.
And then tomorrow maybe try 7, and then try 10, and then, or whatever works for you. Guys, your CRM, your My Weichert will help you track every bit of that. It makes your life so easy. You actually have an opportunity in there that you could do a chat video. You can do up to 10 of them a month for free, and then if you really enjoy that and want to do more of those, you can actually, I think, pay. I don't know. There's different levels if you want to pay and do it more often, but you get 10 free a month, where you can actually do one message. It's a video chat. You can send out to 10 potential clients or whatever, and it's just you talking and saying, "Hey, just wanted to check in with you. It's a beautiful day here in Myrtle Beach today. I understand, that you're living in cold country. Come pay us a visit. I'm here for you. Give me a call." And they're just something short and sweet. But those things will add up to a lot if you get in the habit of doing those things. And all that stuff is right in your contact database on your My Weichert, on your dashboard. You go into your contact button. You have the ability to do like blanket emails, blanket videos, blanket text messages, things like that you can do. But track that, what you're doing, because start off a little bit and build it up till you get to a level where if your pipeline, if you're wanting to be able to work with 2 people a week, 5 people a week, will build your pipeline to meet that. But you've got to constantly be filling that pipeline. Keep a top 10 bench.
Mm-hmm.
Like Tina was just mentioning, keep a whiteboard or something. Visuality is important in what we do. Whether you write it in a book, you keep it on a whiteboard, chalkboard, whatever works for you. Keep it somewhere where you're seeing that every single day and reminding yourself of your activities to do for that day. That'll be huge for you.
Mm-hmm.
If you've got something that is reminding you, oh yeah, I need to, check in with these people or whatever. But top 10 bench. Does anybody know what a top 10 bench is? Some of you have talked to about, okay. So top 10 bench. I used to always keep a top 10 bench. I always had a whiteboard wherever I was. Top 10 people I thought, the next top 10 people that were going to do something with me. I might have just had a quick conversation with them at an open house and barely got to know what their name is. But I maybe don't have other people that are fitting that bill yet, so they might go on my top 10 for the moment until I find somebody that might be a hotter lead for me, and maybe they'll move to number 11 or 12, but I've got their name and everything. So the idea is the top 10 people that I know, that I've met, that I've done business with, however I met them, who do I think in my sphere is going to do business with me next? And always have 10 names there. And they might be a long way out. They might be, doing something this week for you. But if you work on keeping a top 10 bench of people you think are going to do business with you, and always keep it full, always keep 10 there, okay? One might fall out of your 10 because there's a hotter lead that, gets filled in there. But keep a top 10 bench of people that you think are going to do business with you next. That also helps you move your needle as well. So.
And
awesome.
Another point you touched base on. Remember, this is my favorite. You had us text 5 people. Right now, open your phones and text 5 people and say, my office is having a listing contest. Remember that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you know of any family or friends that are thinking about listing? Can you help me out with that?
Great
You'd be
idea.
surprised people will
And do that
answer
right now. Do that right now.
What a great
Go ahead
idea.
and
Just
do it.
take
Yep.
people out of your sphere. I don't care if it's
Yeah,
next
people
door
in your
neighbor.
sphere and do that.
Say,
They
hey,
don't know whether you're having a contest
they
or
don't
not.
know. But now
That
you
doesn't
can
matter.
text
Just
it to
say my
someone,
office is
and
doing a
you know what?
contest.
People want to help people, so
Yeah.
they're going to help find you
Yeah.
someone to list.
That's right.
My friend's having a contest in her office. Does anyone know what's the rule?
I
Try
love it.
I'm telling you, it's amazing.
I love it.
So you don't have to do it right this second, but do it today and see who reaches out to you.
Perfect.
And it doesn't have to be somebody right here. It can be somebody that lives elsewhere. You can do referrals from, you get a hold of Barbara. She'll get a really good referral agent for you if it's in a state that you don't do business
And that's
in.
another thing. If you come from Ohio and you're like, I know more people in Ohio than they do in South Carolina. Well, let them know, hey
Yeah.
guys, I can sell anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be behind whoever you refer to me 100%. I'll connect them to a top agent. I do this a lot. They'll refer to me. I'll communicate with you. And now you're getting sales from out of state.
Yep.
So let everybody know, they don't know already, that you can refer and still have to stay up.
Perfect.
But I wanna know how everyone makes out with texting people, because I know I belong to a ladies luncheon. If I was to text 5 of those ladies, it's like, all right, who are we gonna find Bettina? She's in a contest, let's help her win. It's gonna be amazing.
You work with, but, well, you socialize with wonderful ladies.
No, and I have never texted them, but I'm just giving that as an example.
Yes,
Like if you have people at the gym, like you.
I go to the gym, I have no job.
Do you have numbers of people at the gym?
Wear your name tag at the gym.
That's the people you train.
Get your walking t-shirt.
Get a t-shirt. Wear a t-shirt that you can work out in.
Yeah.
I got white t-shirts, I
Yeah.
got full
Yeah,
load
I
of
like to wear
everything.
stuff, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
My collar,
Yeah.
everything's kind of like a bumblebee.
Lori always has her branding on. She has
Yeah.
some wonderful branding. Can you do it through Remarkable, did you say? Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's doing hers through
Like
Remarkable.
Joe, you would reach out to someone from your car sales days.
Yeah.
Hey, my wife's in a contest. Can you help me out? You know,
Yeah.
people look at the list.
Absolutely.
Get on.
I'm on that.
There you go.
I'm all over it.
I love that. I love that.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Cool. Great. No, that's it. I'm done. I'm good. Good.
I learned the top 10 bench from Monica. I have it in my office on a whiteboard. So this is just encouragement because it started out very empty, and Joe will tell you. I was struggling to find those 10 people to put on there, but now I have 10 plus
Consistently all
going
the time,
straight
right?
down, more further down than that.
Yeah, you might have more than, but the idea is the 10 people I think that are gonna do business with me next. You may have even more that might be, could be months out, or they're just kicking tires right now or whatever. Have them on your list, you never know.
Mm-hmm.
You never know.
Track them. Keep track of them.
That was one of the first things I bought when Monica said, you need a whiteboard. I started out, I said, I'm getting a whiteboard. So I got me one, it was a small one. I'm like, this ain't big enough. Doesn't have
Whatever
that, I got a
visually
bigger
works
one.
for you. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be a whiteboard. Whiteboards are what works well for me. You can get them on Amazon. They're pretty reasonable.
One behind you.
But whatever works for you. But you guys gotta do stuff that keeps visual.